lent a car out to a buddy. We actually built this car for Guy. Guy ran it, and then I didn't run it again, but I did fix it for a guy named Brandon Ganzacoli. And he had a heck of a derby. Let's take a look what this car looks like. It's kind of pushed into a tree here, so we're gonna take a look at it. The yard's getting a little crowded. It's getting to be that time of the derby season. So here is the 2014 Honda Accord. And guys, this went like every other Honda I know. The back end fell apart. So look at all these spider webs out of the way of the gimbal. Down here, you can see that this floor has started to rip away and actually twist. But the strut towers are still intact all the way up to the speaker deck. We'll get to the speaker deck from the other side. The doors on this thing are quite soft. We're gonna go over to this side over here. And he got a couple of good door shots, but he's still safe inside there, so that's nice. Steering still good, he said, electric steering. This is where most of the bad stuff happened. This rear driver door completely gave out. It has like no supports inside of it, I think, compared to what, like the old Hondas used to have big round door supports, but this one actually does not. It's just got an extra piece of metal in there. You can see the round one down lower, but it doesn't do much because this side here is still straight, but the top one's bent. But here's where the real issues pertain. We're gonna come down and take a look. So the rear floor actually pinched hard and ripped the sheet metal, but you can see the amount of rust that was between the layers of metal, which is kind of crazy. And then we're pretty much 1 inch away from the gas tank there with sheet metal. Would I run another one of these? I think so. I think I'd run another one. It was fast. It didn't die. The motor kept going. The rear sub is all intact and complete. I think it bent a trailing arm, but other than that, like everything is kind of complete on this thing. I think if I did a couple more things to make it a little bit more competitive, like had a cage with door bars that kind of held this rear door open, I think it would have been a lot better. But this thing was built for bone stock with no welding, no plates, no cage. We changed no suspension. We did nothing to this car except we notched it, tied the trunk shut, tied our doors shut, we tied our hood shut, and we actually ran the factory bumper. But the biggest surprise to me out of everything is the motor on this thing. This thing still runs. I'm pretty sure, let's see. Guys, this motor doesn't care. It went that whole derby with the loop lines. Like, I can't believe it. This thing still runs and still drives. But the biggest surprise to me out of all of this is the frame rails. Let's talk about these frame rails. They may not look tough. They may not look intimidating, but after 2 derbies and the front bumper pushed right into the catalytic converter, those frame rails are still straight as an arrow. They're not kinked, they're not bent, and this guy was using the front of this car and he was just mowing people with the front of this thing. And this car didn't care. For what the frame rails lack in the strength, I think they make up for it with the subframe. Oh, there is a broken motor mount in there. You know what? Let's get these seat belts off and we're gonna pop this hood to take a look. We just got the hood open on this, and when I tell you guys, I'm impressed with this little car, I am super impressed. These frame rails are still straight. This one's still straight, maybe bowing out just a bit, but like everything is into the block here. Like the rad hose is into that. This motor mount is snapped, but this was the weakest looking motor mount I've seen in my life. It was snapped after Guy. Oh, apparently he went into the derby with that already being snapped. I didn't even know that. Steven just screamed that from across the room. With all the weak looking motor mounts, this thing didn't give a crap. Like it just drove, it did its job, and it said, thank you, do it again, send me again. Unfortunately, we did lose the driver's side dirt bike tire. Maybe the tire might be okay, but the rim is kind of dead on arrival. But we're gonna be cutting this thing apart and salvaging what we can and scrapping what we can't. So let's maybe go take one last look at the back of this thing. So as we're sitting in the back of this Accord looking at it, some things that I would do differently. I would take this point here that is used for towing and used for factory line work for them, and I would have attached it to the trunk just to try to hopefully bring it back together. But it looks like all the sheet metal has kind of ripped away from the floor, but the rear sub in this thing is still intact. So I think if we did a little bit better of a job attaching the top half of the car to the bottom half of the car, I think the back of it would have done a lot better. And I think that if we put a cage in to help keep the car from folding on itself with a gas tank protector, I think this car could have done a lot more than what it did. Like a better bumper and a better cage and a little bit more body preparation that was not just close the trunk and have say good day. I think this car could have been a contender. It's got some electrical gremlins, but it doesn't give up. It does not turn off. It's a Honda. It's gonna run until the end. Camrys just might beat it physically. But do I see a future for this car? Of course I do. And if these guys are doing K swaps like they're doing, that means they can take out these this motor that's in this and put an old B series in it. I think it's gonna be, I think this would be a good car. I think that it's got the bones to be a good car with a little bit more equipment. But stock class, heck of a fun time. If I got another one of these, I would definitely derby it. This one here was not in good enough shape to put back on the road, and that's why it got derbied. The guy that owned it severely abused it and ditch dived it and never changed oils and repeatedly hit curbs. But I think this has potential. And this is a 2014, so that's only 10 years old, guys. Like, you gotta think this car was like 30 grand 10 years ago, but it could be a good derby car. I don't know what other cars from 2014 would be good derby cars, but we'll have to check that out. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you here later on Zach's Workshop. And this is gonna be the death of the Accord, unfortunately. It still runs. I'm not fixing it. I'm not gonna fix it. As much as you guys tell me to fix it, I'm not gonna fix it. It's cooked. It's been in the oven for 8 hours and it's cooked. See you guys back here later on Zach.